Hello and welcome to the latest edition of the Morning Bulletin here on the Blood Red channel. I'm your host, Edward Kay. Joining me today is Ben Bocsak. And today we're going to start by talking about, we'll touch on the Crystal Palace 0-0 draw. Obviously, a bit of a frustrating one. And I think it was pretty obvious how much Darwin Nunez was missed up top, Ben. Jurgen Klopp saying in the press conference after the game that it's a recurrence of the shoulder injury that he sustained against Newcastle when he apparently fouled Trippier and then landed on his shoulder. He had some injections to get him through it against Madrid, but obviously wasn't feeling fit enough to play against Palace. How much of a miss was he, and how much of a worry is that going forward for Liverpool?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think up top, Liverpool did miss his presence. I think that goes without saying. He's just not, I wouldn't say world class yet, but he has the potential to be a world class forward. And when he's on it, and he's a major threat for Liverpool. And I think he would be a major threat for any team, and any team would really miss him. I do think the 0-0 draw perhaps goes deeper than just missing Nunez alone. I think there was a lot of other issues as well in that game. But yeah, I do think he was a miss, absolutely.
Yeah, and his one extended period of absence so far wasn't really through injury. It was from that red card against Crystal Palace, and that came at a really inopportune time for him. Obviously, just settling in at the club, his first Premier League game. And this is it's similar, really, isn't it? It's come at a really inopportune time for him. He was starting to find some real form, wasn't
he? Yeah. It's not ideal. I mean, even against Real Madrid, he was, I think, probably one of the bright lights of that, a rare bright light in that game. Not just for his goal, but the way he ran forward, the way he caused sort of trouble for Real Madrid's defence. He was really the only threat Liverpool had, perhaps with the exception of Mohamed Salah, and he seems to have kind of made that left wing his own as well. It's not quite what we're used to with Mane or Luis Diaz being there, but it's a unique sort of threat that makes Liverpool unpredictable, and obviously that was Klopp's goal this season, is to create some sort of unpredictability, and we call Nunez the agent of chaos, and he's definitely someone who doesn't do what you expect, or who can be something different, and for that reason I think Liverpool will miss him, and it's a big blow for him as well.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really interesting one to see how Jurgen Klopp lines up his front three. Once Luis Diaz is back as well, and he's got that option on the left, it's going to be really interesting. He's going to have plenty of options. Obviously, at the moment, it seems like Liverpool can't really have all of this attackers fit at the same time, but we'll leave the attack there for now, and we'll move on to, one of the very few positives from the weekend's game against Crystal Palace was that Liverpool managed to keep a third Premier League clean sheet in a row, with Joel Matip returning to partner Virgil van Dijk after Joe Gomez had a bit of a shocker and then got injured against Real Madrid. So yeah, 3 Premier League clean sheets in a row. That's at least something to take into this upcoming Wolves game, given the embarrassment suffered at their hands last time.
Yeah, I do think it's a bit skewed because we did concede 5 against Real Madrid at home. So in between those 3 games, and let's be honest, Crystal Palace could have scored if it wasn't for Alisson. Really, they created enough chances, perhaps even had the better chances in the game. So I do think it's a bit skewed in terms of what kind of quality Liverpool's defence is actually at this moment. Trent Alexander-Arnold struggled. I think Matip was a bit shaky. Van Dijk wasn't really back to his 100% best, and I think particularly in midfield as well, Olise seemed to have a lot of fun for Palace. He went past Henderson a lot, the whole Liverpool midfield really, and I think had it been for maybe a better quality side, a better forward, Liverpool probably wouldn't have escaped that game without a goal conceded.
Yeah, you touched on Joel Matip's shaky performances, and it's been like that from him all season, really. Obviously, managing to keep the clean sheet against Crystal Palace, but it wasn't really convincing for the 90 minutes, and we know how poor he was last time he played against Wolves, so you're expecting him to step it up a bit, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, that Liverpool have to expect that because Jurgen Klopp can't go into the transfer market just yet. You have to rely on the players that you have at your disposal, and Konate is injured as well, although he's back training, so hopefully he'll be available soon to play. But in the meantime, you expect Matip. He's shown himself to be a quality player on multiple occasions for Liverpool. The only thing that has been his downside really has been his injury problems, but he seems to have escaped those. Now though, it's about consistency that he's struggling with, and I wonder if it's to do with age. He's had a lot of injuries. He's getting into his 30s. Is it time maybe for Liverpool to, part ways with him? Potentially. I mean, I think Real Madrid are a good example of, not necessarily holding on to their players for the longest time, maybe selling them at what you would call their prime. Cristiano Ronaldo went at the height of his Real Madrid career after he'd won, I think, a 5th or 6th Champions League. Sergio Ramos as well left when he still got it in him to play for PSG in the Champions League. And, I think Liverpool have to sort of look at those examples. I mean, Casemiro as well, and a few others, and consider whether maybe now is the time to break up the squad. And I think Matip is certainly in that conversation of potentially being let go and being, made a profit on, especially since his contract is expiring in 2024.
Yeah, I think if Matip and Fabinho were playing for Real Madrid, they'd be finding themselves a new club in the summer, definitely. But obviously, playing Wolves again, I think it'll be the 4th time since we've come back after the World Cup break, won't it? Because of that replay. Do we think we know what to expect from Wolves by now under Lopetegui?
I think so. It's going to be counter-attacking football, probably a bit defensive. So, if Nunez is not fit, that is going to be a big miss for Liverpool. I think he's the only one who can sort of be an antidote to that parking the bus sort of style that Liverpool encounter all the time. But I suppose what Liverpool do have is Firmino and Jota returning, and potentially they could cause some problems to Wolves. But yeah, I'm at this point with Liverpool, nothing is a guarantee, and I am a bit concerned about this game as well, just because of how effective Wolves were in their last performance against Liverpool. Obviously, that 3-0 victory, and I can see Lopetegui is a good coach, and I can see him getting up and upset again.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going into this one with quite as much trepidation as we were when we went and lost 3-0. I think maybe not outside fans might not have seen it coming, but I think a lot of Liverpool fans saw that one coming at the time, didn't we? And you mentioned Diogo Jota's return from injury there. Obviously, if Nunez is out, we probably expect him to be in again against Wolves. He was pretty quiet against Crystal Palace, really, wasn't he? He managed to get his few customary shots off, as he's pretty incredible at doing when he's in and around the box, but never really threatened, did he?
I mean, yeah, I thought, the whole attack was like that, to be honest. Maybe with the exception of Salah, I think he threatened a lot more. But, had he been in a slightly better position for that header that hit the post from, I think, Matip's cross after a set piece, had he been in a slightly better position and scored that goal, we'd be talking a completely different story. And I think that's the good thing about Jota, is he can find those positions in the box to score goals. And I think that's something Liverpool haven't necessarily had. Nunez likes to run in behind. Gakpo is obviously a different player. He likes to drop back and link up the play. Firmino as well. But now in Jota, Liverpool do have a poacher, and as long as they create chances for him, then there is always the potential of getting a goal. And I think that moment against Crystal Palace was proof of that, and it was just a little unfortunate that he was on the wrong side of the post.
Yeah, I think if he was a few degrees further round, it would have been pretty much an open goal, wouldn't it, really? A bit of an annoying one, that. But that is all we're going to have time for here on the Morning Bulletin today. So, Ben, thanks for joining me, and we'll catch you next time.